Today we're going to do a bit of an exploration, show a little bit of a process, a creative process, based off one of Aesop's fables. We've chosen A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. So I think maybe we should start by, I'll read it again.
Yeah, perfect.
Alrighty. So, a wolf once decided to change his nature by changing his appearance, and thus got plenty to eat. He put on a sheepskin and accompanied the flock to the pasture. The shepherd was fooled by the disguise. When night fell, the shepherd shut up the wolf in the fold with the rest of the sheep, and as the fence was placed across the entrance, the sheepfold was securely closed off. But when the shepherd wanted sheep for his supper, he took his knife and killed the wolf.
Wow.
Cool. So we read that prior to this,
Yes.
and something that jumped out to us from it that we wanted to work with today was the theme of identity.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. So our fable is a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is going to kind of act as our script, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if this was a bigger process, this would be something that you could kind of refer back to and expand on as we went along. A wolf in sheep's clothing. And then we're looking at identity. So pull that out. And then...
Well, what it really pulled out for us was actually gender identity, and especially in the queer community, and how we view gender and how we present ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. So some sub-headings here, I suppose. Gender identity.
Yeah.
Queer identity.
Yeah.
I guess external identity, so in terms of like clothing or cloaks or like...
So how you create that identity.
Cloaks, masks, things like that, so...
Disguise.
Yeah, costume.
Yeah.
Clothing. And then also I think when it comes to like external identity, or internal identity folding out into external identity, there's like ritual, or a ritual based in it.
That sort of sense of getting ready and preparing to face the world as what you want to come across as.
Yeah, definitely. Ritual. So I guess from these sub-themes within an umbrella theme of identity,
Yeah.
we're going to sort of do just quite a simple repetition exercise as like our sort of, as a physical brainstorm in a way, to see what we can pull out of that.
And what works and what doesn't.
And what works and what doesn't. So to do that, we've brought in some props to play with, and we've loosely, and maybe not so loosely, kind of picked these props in relation to these themes.
Absolutely.
So we've got some props.
So what we've got here, we've got a lipstick.
Yeah, lipstick.
We have a wig.
A wig.
We have a cloak or a jacket.
The sheepskin almost.
Yeah, sheepskin, absolutely. We have got some fur.
Yeah, I think a lot of these, I mean, we've tried to get things that are animalistic, I suppose.
That feel that way if we're exploring physically.
Like animal sort of stuff.
And we have shoes.
We have shoes, yeah.
And then this is interesting.
But also, I think, sorry, just to interject, on shoes, heels, because that represents a whole another thing with identity and feminism and patriarchy and You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. It changes our height. It makes us feel different. It makes us stand differently. So
it's got an expectation in it, in the way women are expected women to work, or a particular style of shoe, what people would wear, that what they would be doing when they wear that.
And there's a certain torture within that as well. Like almost looking at this, there's sort of a torturous aspect of it, which could be quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
And we've got bananas.
Yeah. So we've got some food, basically.
Yeah.
I guess the bananas, they're quite a rich prop because also they're quite phallic as well, which sort of falls back into that gender identity thing. But also they sort of come into it as they come from this idea of, I suppose, as like another thing that comes from the fable is the idea of like hunger or to feed or to eat.
And a need, and maybe that's the need for acceptance through identity.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's sort of a bit left field, but but the hunger, that's a need. That's it.
Yeah.
That's an animalistic need.
Yeah. And so
to survive,
we wanted to have something that represented hunger, I suppose, or the feeding, or the killing of the sheep almost, or the eating of the wolf, or whatever it is. So I've got some bananas, but we're also going to use them in our exercise as a kind of as a punctuation.
Okay.
So when we're doing the repetition exercise, let's use that as a full stop to start again. So that comes at the end of the sequence, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So we should get down a sequence. And I suppose all of this shit is sort of here to allow us to have freedom within form.
Yes.
Then we can play, you know what I mean? So the sequence will go 1, lipstick, 2, wig.
Yes. And then 3, shoes or coat?
Coat.
Coat, because we're placing that on. Yeah.
And
then the shoes come in there.
oh, I've got the fur. There's another one.
Coat, fur.
Coat, fur.
So coat, fur, then external.
Yeah, then shoes.
Great.
Shoes, 5, 6 is eat, is the food.
Right.
Kind of like getting ready to go out to dinner.
Yes. So when we start this, are we building up then 1 to 6 and then 1, 2, 6, or?
So let's go, we'll go 1. So for everything we put on, we obviously have to take it off.
Right, okay. So
and then start again.
Right.
So let's go lipstick, take off the lipstick. Lipstick, no wait, lipstick, eat, take off the lipstick. Lipstick, wig, eat, take them both off. Lipstick, wig, coat, eat, take the 3 off. Lipstick, wig, coat, fur, eat, reverse, lipstick, wig, coat, fur, shoes, eat.
Yeah.
Then take it all off.
So we're building up that momentum.
Yeah.
And are we using music?
Well, you suggested a metronome.
Yes.
So I have I've got together a kind of guitar metronome, just to give it a bit more kind of depth and range to it, kind of thing, shake it up a little bit. So we're going to use a metronome to work with as well.
Right.
So that throughout this, we can then explore how pace is affected during that repetition, and so we'll use essentially a RAM.
And that will sort of help with the sort of need, because it's always like
Yeah.
what's our need? Yeah, building up to our objective, which is food, which is eating, which is satisfaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say within the RAM, that's in the sound, in the sonic part of the journey, let's also use that in this journey as well. So whether that's going to be from less to more, or smaller to bigger, or whatnot, or lighter to heavier, let's use those notions in our physicality when we connect and have a relationship with each object. So for example, you might just pick up the lipstick the first time, but as it goes on and you ramp it up, you might use more of it, kind of thing. And yeah, I don't want to feed it too much. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
So that's that really. I think that's.
I get it. So we're just gonna.
Oh, and I think we should start together because we're exploring this together. And then basically this, and we'll see where that goes. And then this experiment can be, I suppose, our brainstorm, where we can see what we can pull out of it that we'd maybe like to shape into a little 2-minute thing at the end.
Great.
But we will have a moment of discussion afterwards, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Let's see what comes out with it.
Yes, absolutely. Cool. So. So, obviously there's a lot in that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that did work, and there's a lot of things that didn't work. I guess with more time,
Yes.
you'd kind of be able to dissect stuff a little bit more, and maybe explore things a little bit more.
I really like the relationship we were building up.
Yeah.
Because there was that tentativeness, and then interestingly there was a conflict. There was that, and then it rose out into competitiveness. And I really felt in an instinct, Eva, it was when you did that. Do you see what I mean? That for me was the turning point.
There's something in physical interaction as well,
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah. And then I stole the food.
Yes. So it felt like you were the alpha. Like, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we were there, and there was points where I felt really confident, and I was like, but then there was a shift in the power.
Which was weird because I actually waited for you to eat the banana first.
Yeah.
I sort of had a moment of like, is it poison? I'm gonna let you go first.
Ah.
Kind of thing. So there's the physical connection, relationship. I think obviously like that could. I feel like I held back a bit in the building of the relationship because I was focused on the task.
Yeah. I see. Yeah.
You could strip that down. There was a lot going on, I reckon.
There was a lot going on. But I felt there was a through line.
Yeah. It definitely ramped up, but in intensity and probably in story and picture and image. Yeah, there's lots of little moments in it. Definitely some things that worked and definitely some things that didn't. I guess for the purpose of this, so if you were to pick something to move forward, I mean obviously you can pick lots of things and then expand and explore them even more. But for the purpose of this, what's something that you would take out from it?
I liked the idea of the ritual of painting myself. I don't know why, but I felt that that was a very important part. I was like, I need to do that. That for me felt like it was creating almost a disguise but a camouflage, which ties in weirdly with that.
Yeah.
Like creating a camouflage with something.
Yeah.
And that feeling of placing that.
There's something quite ritualistic about it, I think, as well.
Absolutely.
Something about putting it on and taking it off constantly.
Yeah.
Makes you think of masks and, yeah, I guess identity and what that is.
Yeah.
Definitely makes me think of a drag queen getting ready for a show.
Yeah. At the end of the night.
Yeah, maybe more the end of the night. Yeah, a drag queen at the end of the night. Yeah, I'd like to, I guess, like, what would you like, I guess one thing you'd like to expand on, one thing you'd like to keep, and something you'd like to ditch from it.
Right. I think...
Expand. Ditch.
Expand upon that exploration of creating that face. I quite like that.
And I guess, just to interject quickly, maybe folding that back into this initial idea of identity.
Yeah.
So we're coming back home to the original concept as opposed to creating too many branches out off the trunk.
Yes.
Which of course is great depending on how much time you've got to explore, but for the purpose of this, in terms of identity, what things that you keep, expand, or chuck. That's one word. Ditch. Ditch, I quite like.
Ditch. I like the repetition, but I think we had too many things, so I think it's about stripping them back.
Yeah.
So maybe thinking about, like, I always think about the power of three.
To streamline, yes.
You know what I mean?
To streamline the repetition, to ditch some of it.
Yeah.
I also felt like the physical of the repetition got lost in so much more that I felt I could do in that.
Yes.
I wasn't doing so many things.
I wasn't being clear enough with how I was doing
Absolutely.
it. which actually gave, weirdly, some weird comedy that came out of it in that relationship.
Yeah.
It felt almost like a camera routine at some points.
Yeah.
Doing that. Not in a bad way, but yeah. So streamlining the ritual.
Yeah, so getting rid of some of the repetition exercise itself, streamlining it.
Yeah, and maybe expanding upon that relationship, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's the power coming? And because that feeds into that animalistic nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it did feel quite animalistic at the end, like.
Yeah, well, I felt like an animal. I stole the bananas from you, so you couldn't complete the thing.
And what do you think we should keep?
I'd keep the lipstick. I think it's just a powerful signifier of, like, it's a creative tool practically and just symbolically, and also it represents feminism and art and face, and very much is a symbol
it
of, like,
ties into this sort of queer identity and how we define gender in that sort of fluidity.
Absolutely. And it's very draggy, I suppose, as well, isn't it? And gender identity, queer identity. I'm really interested to know how it translates or sits. You being a woman, as opposed to me being a man, kind of thing.
Yeah. The juxtaposition, and the interesting thing is, it fed in to actually that masculinity taking over.
Yeah, why did that come out? That's interesting. How are we going for time? Probably running out.
So are we going to give something a go?
Yeah, cool. So, the physical and the lipstick is something, relationship to expand on. I'd like to explore sound more in it.
Great.
So I think maybe, let's take the lipstick. Hone in our relationship maybe a bit more, and I'll put some music on and we'll see what happens with that.
Great.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to pop on some bit of glass.
Beautiful.
Lipstick. Ready?
Yeah.
sad.
Just different.
I think that's what I've got time for.
Yeah.